Let's start with the question. How can I make a stable re-entry vehicle? I'm playing a career mode game, and I've gotten my research up to all of level 4, plus electrics. I've flown a number of suborbital hops, plus one successful orbital flight with re-entry. The Mk1 command pod by itself is nicely self-stabilizing during re-entry. Make sure it enters the atmosphere blunt end first. And aerodynamics take care of the rest. For suborbital tourist flights, I'm using a command pod stacked on top of a Mk1 crew cabin on top of a heat shield. This is stable in the sense that I've never had one flip over and go pointy end first. But it requires active flying during re-entry to keep that from happening. I can't see this being viable for orbital tourist flights. My first attempt at orbital re-entry had a command pod stacked on top of a 1.25 meters service bay with a few experiments on top of a heat shield. This quickly tumbled during re-entry, with predictably exciting results. Is it possible for me to make a stable re-entry vehicle more sophisticated than a simple command pod with heat shield? So how can we solve this? There's one possible answer. Answer 1. I did what you did. But put a stack decoupler between the Mk1 crew cabin and the Mk1 command pod. And gave the crew cabin its own heat shield. And parachute. The heat shield is enough to keep it properly oriented during re-entry without any input. The one trick here is that you want to delay separation as long as possible, otherwise the cabin and pod will get too far apart and the one you're not controlling will be destroyed when it goes past the simulation range. I experimented with trying to make aerodynamic re-entry vehicles that could glide to a landing but didn't have any luck. This solution worked well, and I was even able to expand it to 2 crew cabins separated by a second decoupler. I hope this answer helped, and if it did, please drop a comment and subscribe.